Before I begin recapping Survivor's latest episode, I want to start by saying on this channel lately, I've gone back to my roots. I've been making a lot of videos lately on many different subjects. And the one video each week that I struggle to motivate myself to sit down and talk about is this one, the Survivor episodes, which I think speaks to how little I like Survivor these days. And it's sad because at one point Survivor was definitely my favorite reality show. But what it's become sucks. This past week I covered Corinne from Survivor 17 and others talking about how new school Survivor players are ugly. And that was a stupid thing to say. Her point overall with the modern seasons got lost because she wanted to say something controversial, which is very Corinne, which is also her way of trying to get people to tune into a podcast. But what's really ugly about these seasons is just the format and all these twists. What is even the point of the merge? I gave this show the credit last week for finally giving us a merge episode that was entertaining and didn't have some twists ruin it, only for the next week to have the twist that usually ruins the merge. I do not understand Jeff Probst's obsession with having these small numbers vote. To me, it's not entertaining. And at one point during the series, the show realized that these big tribes were entertaining because the more numbers, the more drama, the more numbers, the more possibilities of where things can go. There's actually more content in having more people voting than just 5 people voting. But every season, they either split the tribes once again at a merge, which is, once again, I ask, what's the point of a merge if you're going to split them off in half? Luckily, we did not have a double elimination this year because the old shoe bandit got bit by a snake. I think that's the only reason we didn't have one, or we would have had one of those again. The other problem is that every time these modern seasons split the tribe into a smaller group to vote, a black player goes home. And it's a trend that sucks too, because nobody wants to see that every season. Everything about modern Survivor is just predictable. It's the same things over and over and over. We're going to start in 3 tribes. The tribes are going to be easy because there's going to be people finding their 4 to knock off the other players. That's all you got to do every season. And then at some point, there might not even be a tribe swap, but at least there was this season. So things got a little more interesting. But then at the merge, we're going to screw things up again because we don't want a real merge, even though that's more entertaining. No. We want small numbers because I'm Jeff Probst and I have no idea what good TV is anymore. So yeah, I hated everything about this episode. And as I've talked about in the past, 2 out of the last 3 seasons I stopped watching, probably adding a 3rd to that list because I don't know if I really want to cover this season anymore. I have no desire to root for the underdogs this season when 2 of those underdogs are Rizo and Savannah. And on top of that, we have to deal with them again next season. Rizo was pretty unlikable to me from episode 1. I talked about it here on this channel about how aggravated I was that he was just so proud of himself for a cheating win in a challenge. It was pathetic. Savannah's been super irritating 7 episodes straight, and then they finally decided to give her some content in this episode to try and make her seem like a more likable person. Didn't work on me. I just rolled my eyes during that. So I question the editing as well. We have 9 people left after this episode, and one of those is Sophie with an E, who didn't start getting an episode till last week. Juwan irritated me again this episode. Last week, I finally gave him some credit. This week, he was a scared-ass player. Everyone on that tribe that had to vote, even though it wasn't a tribe, it's still the merge, allegedly. But everyone in that tribe that had to go to the vote played so scared. The move was to get out Rizo. And he has such a big ego, which is why he's so unlikable, is his big-ass ego. He has such a big ego that he probably wouldn't have used his idol. They could have tricked him. And then Savannah gets this overpowered power just for winning an individual immunity in what is not actually an individual immunity, because we're splitting the tribes again, because it's just all very confusing, because Survivor doesn't know what it wants to be anymore. So Savannah gets to go to the people that are voting. She can't be voted out, but she might be able to vote if she wants this round, so she could screw things up and help Rizo. Or she could save her extra vote going forward. And clearly what the season has set is that, yeah, Sophie without an E, Rizo, and Savannah are the underdogs who are clearly going to be in the final four, if not three. Like, the final three is probably going to be Sophie, Rizo, and Savannah. Perhaps not knowing that Savannah and Rizo were in the next season might have made this easier to digest, maybe. But knowing that two of them are in the next season, we now know that at least one of them, if not two of them, are going to be in the final three. That's just the way I see it, and it just does not interest me. And then this episode, Juwan, MC, Sophie with an E, so scared to play when the move was to take out Rizo. Sophie had a good idea for her own game to throw a vote on Juwan just in case Rizo did play the idol. She told this to MC, though. MC took this information to Juwan, and Juwan eventually talked to Sophie about it, which is how the tide turned against MC. But at the end of the day, it was those three players playing scared. And so I'm just asking myself, do I really care to keep watching this season? And the answer that I've been thinking for weeks, honestly, is not really. Modern Survivor sucks. I do think the big negative for this season, because I do think the cast is overall better than the last few, to me personally. But it is knowing that season 50 is coming and that there's returnees. And knowing the two players that are returning has really crippled this season as well. So that's how I feel. I do still like Sage and Steven. Those would be the two people I root for if I do keep watching. I don't like Steven's chances because it's a problem with the editing again. While he has gotten a little more edit the last few episodes, overall his edit is still pretty bleak in the grand scheme of things. It's been a real huge over edit for Savannah, Rizo, Juwan, Sage. Those are the only four people that truly have an edit this season. Sophie without any has an edit too. So I guess 5 out of the 9 players left actually do have an edit, but there's still 4 players left that it's like, we know they're not getting anywhere. Christina has an idol, but she's had literally no edit. Her edit might be coming as little as Sophie with an E. I do still like Sage. I felt like she was the only player in this episode who still wanted to not be scared to play with the people that had to vote. But, I mean, she didn't have the numbers to not play and get out Rizo. I would still love a Sage win. Don't see it happening, though. I fear we are in for a Savannah or Rizo win, with the other possibility being Sophie with no E. They're the underdogs. They're the unlikable underdogs to me personally. The edit didn't help with that. And yeah, I kind of want to tap out. It would be 3 out of the last 4 Survivor seasons that I tap out from watching. It's why I haven't covered this show for the past few seasons. And here I am again, struggling every week to want to talk about this show. I don't know if I want to keep putting myself through that. I have a lot of other things I talk about. I don't know if Jeff Probst's Survivor is truly worth it anymore in general.